Good morning and welcome to Something Saturday. So I've got a couple of things to show you today. I'm just going to take my seat. Excitingly, I mentioned last week that I had my one of these ordered, which is the stamping positioner tool. So it's brand new. As a demonstrator, I was allowed to pre-order it, but now if anyone wants it this month only, if you join Stampin' Up, you get this for free. Okay, it's $85 worth, so it is a bargain to get that for free. Also, if you are thinking about joining Stampin' Up, the deal is that you choose up to $235 of goodies. You only pay $169 plus you get this. So I thought I would quickly show you how to use this. Although if you are anything like me, you probably have already viewed the video on it. I made this card up with it. I wanted the thank yous to line up, and you can actually do that with this extra piece. So what you do is you line up your whatever stamp it is that you're wanting to use. I figured I'd grab this one out. I actually had this brilliant idea, which we will see whether it works. Because, you know, in true Heather fashion, I actually haven't done anything about it. So it's kind of like they're on this little spring-loaded system, and then there's a couple of bits here which is where these parts here go into, and then when you press it down, these ones are also on a little spring-loaded system, so the whole thing goes down evenly, which is really cool when you're actually trying to position something, because it does mean that initially, let's grab that out and shove it on. And find a bit of paper. Excuse the fact that I'm actually just going to use a bit of scrap paper at the moment because I haven't really thought this out. So you do have grid paper that you can purchase, and don't know if you can see this, but there's little dots just there which the grid paper then sits into. It's inches on one side, centimeters on the other side. Tend to be in a centimeters girl. You get a couple of these, which, yay, they are not going to break on us, and they have little tabs that makes it a lot easier to pick them up. Let's just shove that in place. You can butt things up to this little dots as well, which is kind of cool. That's way out, so let's just say that we want that. Whoops. Let's put that the right way around, shall we? Say we want it about there. So what you can do is you can go, okay, well, I want this stamp to sit here. So while it's uninked, that's the word I'm after, you pop it onto there and you pick it up. And then you can grab something, an ink, well, not just something, but an ink. And you pop it onto there, and then you can put it back there, and if you've got other things that you've already stamped on there, you can go, now, am I happy with the way that that's sitting? Oh, no, I don't know that I am. And then you can take it off and change it. But, you know, we're going to say, yes, we're happy with that. So you just press it down. It doesn't ink until you press it down. And then I'm going to go ahead and move it, so give it a bit of a clean off, and then I'm going to go, well, you know, now what I want to do is actually want to go with this looking about there. We're just going to, you know, say it's crossing over it, and we're going to pick it up, and then you look over it and you go, oh crumbs, no, that's not quite right. So then you can move it again and go, okay, well, you know, that looks better. All right, we'll ink it up. But unlike the Stamparatus, where once you had it in position, you couldn't then go, oh, no, hang on a minute, looking at this, no, it's not quite right. This one, you can, even before it's inked anything, you can position it in, make sure it's in the right position, and then go, cool. And then if you end up with a spot where you're going, oh, no, that looks a bit light, that didn't work very well, you just re-ink it, pop it down again, and do it again. So it's a fabulous system. I am very happy with mine, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get heaps and heaps of use out of it. Let's just give that a clean off. So that is what the main plate is like. But wait, there's more. Let's just pop that one away. Oh, no, well, I'll keep that one out. So I'm just going to take that off there. And, oh, no, I don't want that. Where's that other sheet of paper? There it is. All right. So I had this thought, because this one is really cool, that you can pop it in and then sort of like do things going up the page, as it were. So my thought was that, let's see, I would like to be able to do it so that it's got these and you switch it around each time. So let's go with putting it to this baseline, and we're just going to hold it in place with those two. So where's my whole thing? I thought that I was going to be clever and be able to, no, I can't. I thought I was being really clever here, but never mind, never mind. My initial being cleverage hasn't worked. Okay, so we've got that, and we're going to put it into there. And then potentially we could stamp it there, but what I actually want to do is turn it around in a minute and stamp it. So then I'm going to go with taking it 2 up, I think, so that I've got it, no, there, maybe there. Okay, so let's re-ink, pop it onto that one, stamp it there. I'm going to move this along to the end, because I reckon I'm going to be able to hopefully stamp it in there too. Oh, come along, move along a bit. So that's that. Probably I should have moved it up a tad, but anyway. So then if I then clean that off, so then we've got, it's kind of cool that you can do these repeatable images like this. So then pop it this way round. I want it to line up on there. Yeah, I think that'll, oh, always helps if you pick up the stamp as well. Good job, Heather. So then into there, let's pop that one down onto there, and into there. And then you've got this little image that's reversed it all, but it's all really nicely in order, and you haven't got to try and work out making sure that it's straight. I know there's a lot of people who have challenges with making sure that something's straight, and you know what I might have done actually is if I'd pushed that up a little bit more, I could have actually had one coming off the edge of the page as well. But I didn't. So, you know, that's learning curve, as they say. I haven't used it that much yet. So, yeah, just thought I would show you that to begin with. So I will put the details up on my blog about this. And there's a couple of other things I was going to tell you as well while I'm here. Let's just move that off my list. The virtual card retreat is still available. That was the one that I was showing you the cards for last week. Gee, they are absolutely beautiful cards. Let's just put this lot away. There is now a brand new class that Stampin' Up! Have bought out, which I think is really reasonably priced. It's only $44, and it uses the Lovely Blossoms suite, which I don't actually have yet. So if anyone has it and they fancy doing the class with me, it might spur me on to buying it. But yeah, anyway, there's that. And what else have I got to tell you about? Oh, there is a new product of the month, and oh, it is gorgeous. I'm gonna put a little link to it on my blog so you can actually check it out. I have ordered it like this morning because, you know, I just went, oh my goodness, I clearly have to have that one. Little, what's the word for it? Not a sneak peek, but a little, whatever you call it, is that it is actually designer series papers again, but they are just superb. Okay, so getting on to what I'm actually going to show you in this video. So do you remember last week I actually made up this set of cards? So we've got that, we've got that. This actually used last month's product of the month, which actually is still available. You can only get yourself one thing, one set of the product of the month, but potentially if you do an order for $125, you can pick from any of the last 3 products of the month, which there's actually only been 3 products of the month because they're still available. But, you know, kind of, I like to have the latest thing. Anyway, yes, so I made those ones last week, sorry. And then the week or 2 beforehand, I had made this little set of cards. And then I was thinking, well, it would be kind of nice to have a little box to put them into. So this week, guess what we're doing? That's right, we are doing a box to pop your little cards into. So I've used the note cards and envelopes to be able to do this. And this particular one was used with retired cardstock that kind of matched in nicely with the cards themselves, I thought. Hopefully you think the same. Whoops, wow. They're kind of like more of a basic sort of card design, paper design. So anyway, yes, pop those away, tuck them away like so, and let us move on. So obviously you need a piece of cardstock for the base of the card holder. And now I need to find my instructions for this, which, wow, look at that. Hopefully I will be able to decipher them. Let's pop everything away and bring in my cutter scorer. Right, now I decided upon 3.5 centimeters for each side. So it's actually using an entire sheet of A4 cardstock. So 3.5 centimeters, and turn it round and put 3.5 centimeters onto this side. So that will create the sides. Okay, then I have got, well, let's hope I can get this right, 6.5 centimeters. So, yep, 6.5. Then it's 3.5 because you want the sides to be, so you need this measurement to be the same as this measurement so that you end up with a nice even looking box like this. So 6.5 plus 3.5 is 10. Hopefully that's correct. I swear I had it written down somewhere. I do. I always doubt my maths after I've done it. So 6.5, then 10. And I have a feeling that it's exactly the same on the other side. 6.5 and 10, yes. So turn it round, do the same thing. 6.5, 10. Okay. So that is all the scoring that you need to do. Then we need to do some cutting. So let's grab our, oops, scissors. Have I shown you my little shot glass that I keep my Tombow upside down in? So that it's always at the pointy end, because that's the end that I use the most. All right. So now what you're going to do is you're going to cut down. So you cut down to that point there, but you don't cut it off there, you cut it off here. and that piece is spare. So again, you're going to do the same thing on this one. I'm going to cut it to there, take off this piece. Okay, and then the other end, these pieces, you're actually just going to cut there and there on both pieces. You can use your stamping cutter to do this if you want to. I just find it just as easy to use my scissors. So there you have it. That is literally all you need to create the base of this. So then fold all the pieces. Let's pop that away. Grab your bone scorer. Keep on. Let's work our way from the bottom up, shall we? And there we have it. So then that will just sit together like that, and then by leaving this little piece on the top here, it actually gives it a little bit more stability when you want to bring this around and fold it in, which potentially, if you're actually going to fold it in, you may need to just make sure that it's going to fit, and potentially you may need to just slim down that little piece on each side. But it's looking not too bad at the moment. And then you need something to decorate these pieces with. As you can see, I have done that and that and just decorated up the whole thing. So because I don't have a full piece of this cardstock anymore, because I only had a quarter of a pack to begin with, and I've been very frugal with it. And you kind of need a whole piece of the 12 by 12 in order to actually get all the way around this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to use potentially 2, possibly 3 pieces of what I have left, which is, wait for it, it's 8.5 by 6, I believe. So I was thinking that these 2 would potentially work. I thought maybe I could put this one on the inside piece and the bottom, and then have this one coming round the rest. We will see how it looks, shall we? What you do want to do though is you want to make sure that the pattern is going to continue all the way around. So potentially by stopping the pattern on the bottom, at least then I will have the pattern going round this part. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, we know that this is 6.5 centimeters. So what you're going to do is you're going to make your mat 6 centimeters. And then we know that the length of this, well, I don't think you do know that the length of this, but it is. I believe it's 14 centimeters. So yes. So then we're going to make it 13.5. So we're just going to take off 0.5 centimeter off each side. So we need to, if we're going to go this way with it, then we want to start off this way, and we want to make this 6. So 6, and then we want the next one to be 3, because the rest of it, the next piece is 3.5. And pop those to one side, and then, as I say, it's got to come down to 13.5 centimeters. So 13.5 is like that. And we will swipe off those pieces, and I am really not going to keep those teeny tiny pieces. Sorry to disappoint. So that, let's let's persuade that out. So that and that are going to sit there and there. Not sure whether you can actually see that in the frame, but you will do in a minute. And then, so then you want this one. So this one is 9.2 centimeters is what you want here. So 9.12 centimeters. It's not easier in inches on this one either, unfortunately. So 9.2 is going to be there. Then we're going to go with another 3 to go in here. And then we're going to go with another 6. That piece I can use. I know. Good job, Heather. And then we want to cut the whole thing down to 13.5 centimeters. So let's just bring that to 13.5 and add that one into the equation. 13.5. Don't know whether I'll use those. So then they will sit on there and the pattern continues on the way up. Okay, what have I done with my stamping seal? Here it is, one seal. And my glue mat. Oh, look at me go, remembering my glue mat too. Oh yes, and look at that. I've just put a new, I ran out of seal, so I've just put a new one into here, and oh my goodness, it's so nice when you first start off with a new round of seal. It just sort of rolls like it's smooth and buttery. If you can call an adhesive buttery. There's that one. Then right, so we've got that section now, and I didn't think I'd put a mat on one of these. I think it was this one I didn't think I'd put a mat onto, but I appear to have done so. So that means that I probably do want to do something with this. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut these bottom ones first, because potentially this doesn't have to be the full mat go. Oh, hello little ant, off you go, you can go on the floor. Yeah, it does, it only needs to come to sort of where this is going to cover it over, so it's only going to really show that much of it. So which way am I going to do this? I want it this way, oh my goodness, who knows? See me. Okay, so because I know that this part here is going to be 3 centimeters, I can cut it to 3 centimeters. Let's do that, 3, and hopefully, yeah, that might tie in all right because that's got that colour there. And then what can I do with this one? That's not too bad either. I reckon that'll work if I do 3 centimeters there, or should I do it for there? Okay. I don't really think it's going to make much of a difference whatever I do. Okay, so let's make it from this part here, 3 centimeters. All right, 3 centimeters. There we go. That'll do. And it needs to then be 6 centimeters up here. So let's take this and go with the 6 centimeters. Oh, look at that. Didn't actually realize I'd cut it like that. Huh. Probably you guys are all watching me going, yeah, we knew you'd done that, Heather. And potentially, I wonder if it would actually be better if I do it that way round, simply because I'm just realizing that that's going to be on the up and I want my leaf to be coming up. And then this piece can really just sit on the edges there and that'll be fine. Yeah. Let's attach them. And then bearing in mind that these ones do need to go at the top of this section, otherwise they will disappear underneath and never be seen again. Well, potentially they will, but only like the wrong bit of it. I wonder if I'd be better off doing that. No. Stick to the same thing. And now we can assemble our box. So with the box assembly, I actually recommend that you then move on to using Tombow, because this is so much stronger. And you really want your glue to hold in place. So we're going to start off just adding a bit of Tombow to this. They had a tip the other day in the virtual card class, which is to sort of push yourself out a little bit of the glue and then move it around. So, and I do a thing where I just keep a light pressure on it once I've got it out. So then we are going to attach those 2 pieces inwards and pop it onto this. So flip your sides up and hold that in place for a sec. Oh, nice gluey fingers there. Marvellous. And now I am sticking to it, of course. So just make sure that your glue has set on that. And then this piece can now flip down and you'll have that nice little line going on either side as well. So let's just do that. So when you use this glue, don't over glue. So don't put too much glue on because it will just ooze out the sides. And unfortunately this, I mean, it's kind of fortunate but unfortunate, but this glue does stay tacky. So it's kind of, it becomes repositional if you allow it to dry completely, which is great because, you know, that's a really handy quality to have, if you like, but it does mean that it's not so great if you get too much glue on it and then you're trying to get it off again. So you can get it off if you have a glue eraser. And there we go. And apparently I have a tiny bit of glue there, but I am one of the fortunate ones that has a glue eraser. Stampin' Up! Don't actually sell them anymore, but if you're going to any of the like craft fairs, like Craft Alive, Picture to Page, that sort of thing, I know there are other retailers that sell these, and I tend to sort of like chop a little corner off of it and then I can use that, and it's a little bit more sort of like directional, as it were. So there we go. one little thing. And now, look at that, how pretty. Let's see whether it actually tucks in. And it tucks! Oh my goodness, I made it right again. Maybe I shouldn't be quite so surprised. But you know what? I'm going to put up the measurements onto my blog. So the link will be below this video. So go and check out. If you want to make these up, then head on over to my blog, check it out. I will put anything else up there that is relevant and useful for you to know. If you don't have a demonstrator already, don't forget you can order through me, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for joining me today, and come and join me next Saturday and we will do something else that's different. Oh, actually, just quickly before that, no, forget it. Let's not quickly before that, shall we? Thank you for joining me. Okay, bye-bye.